Hello everyone and welcome back to Revs and Reviews. Today I have another pretty special Honda SUV here in front of me, and you may be thinking, well, it's just a CRV. Well, no, this is a CRV, but this one is the hybrid TrailSport trim. So this is the all-new 2026 Honda CRV TrailSport, which is a hybrid, which is also quite nice. This one is in this beautiful radiant red metallic, which is about a $500 upgraded color. Now you can get a few different wheel options with the TrailSport trim. So the ones that you see right here are these like steel gray color. As you can see, they're very reflective, which I like. Now these are 18-inch wheels, which are nice. Now of course you can get them in gloss black, or you can get them in this like carbonized gray color. Now you can also option those out to have a little bit of chrome around the edges, which is also nice. Now that will cost a little bit extra. Now the TrailSport trim is going to be Honda's more of an off-roady type of trim. So the TrailSport trim is going to give you more of that off-roading capability. Of course, you're going to have about 8 inches of ground clearance, but mainly the TrailSport trim is mainly for the looks on the CRV. So moving along to the front, we still have that same front end design with our TrailSport badge and our gloss black grille, our beautiful LED indicators and headlamps. We do not have any fog lights, but we do have functional vents down below. We do have that little bit of a steel color front lip down there, which I like, and that beautiful gloss black with that honeycomb grill down there as well. Now of course the TrailSport does mean we are going to get a ton of orange accentings on the interior and the exterior. Now the one thing I was surprised was we don't get any orange accentings on the wheels, which I was kind of disappointed about, but the wheels still do look very cool. Now you will notice with the TrailSport trim we have the all-terrain tires. We also have the body cladding kit, which is only available on your TrailSport trim. So basically it's going to give it more of that Toyota RAV4 adventure type of look, which is nice. Now along with that, we are going to get the gloss black roof rails, the one panel sunroof, and along with that, even though we only have the 8.1 inches of ground clearance, we're still getting plenty of ground clearance. Obviously not enough for off-roading, but we still are getting ground clearance. Now moving along to our rear end here, we do have our blacked out CRV badge and our blacked out hybrid badge. Now along with that, on this side we are going to have a blacked out with a little bit of orange accented TrailSport badge, which I do think is nice. Now typical CRV fashion, we have our type of stacked tail light design with a reverse light over here, our indicator right over there. We have our all-wheel drive badge right under our rear wiper, which is nice, and then we have our Honda badge, and of course this rear tailgate is power, which is nice. Now we do have a rear wiper. I wish it was tucked underneath, but it still is nice to have that rear wiper. Now overall, I do have to say I really do like the TrailSport trim. I really do like that Honda is bringing more trim levels to our CRV. Now of course you can get like a sport touring hybrid, you can get an EXL hybrid. You got a lot of options to choose from with Honda in their trim levels and their colors and their unique rim designs, which is also nice. Now overall, I do have to say I like the body cladding around the vehicle. It gives it more of that off-road design, and it also protects that paint from rocks, which will like come up when you're driving and stuff, including on like a gravel road. I also like our gloss black mirror caps with our indicators, and I like the gloss black door handles, which are also nice. Now along with that, I do have to say this radiant red color does have kind of a shiny flake in it, which I like, and this radiant red color actually isn't too red. It's kind of red in the sun, but then it's also kind of like not red. It's like a flat red color, which I like. But overall, I really do like the red color. Now let's take a look under the hood and see what Honda has to offer for performance on the Honda CRV TrailSport. Taking a look under the hood of the CRV here, we don't get impressive performance, but since this is a hybrid, we will get a little bit of extra power. So we have our 2.0 liter engine with our 2 hybrid motor system with 204 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque, all-wheel drive with 40 in the city and 34 on the highway, which is nice. And even though this is our TrailSport trim, this one can only tow up to 1,000 pounds, which is kind of the downside of calling this a TrailSport. So that's the only really downside of driving a CRV TrailSport is you're not going to be able to get the functionality like you would with a Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk or something in that like genre. But in theory, you can add a tow hitch to this. You can get a tow hitch from the factory. This one does not come with your tow hitch, but you can option it out with the tow hitch down there, and you can tow up to 1,000 pounds, which means you can tow like a nice lawnmower, or you can tow something like a small trailer or a small camper. But obviously you're not going to be able to do anything extreme as far as towing with this vehicle. Now on the interior is where things do get pretty special with all the technology on the interior. So let's hop inside and see what Honda has to offer for technology. Now moving along to the interior, we do get a really nice interior. Now moving along to our door panel here, we do get a really nice black plastic with a little bit of black leather of a door panel. We also do get this type of material here. It's almost like a fake carbon fiber. Now we don't get a really big cup holder, but we do have a big enough cup holder for 2 water bottles. Now we do have a little CRV badge down there, and then we have our standard audio sound system, which does sound pretty amazing. I just can't share it here on YouTube because I will get copyrighted. Now we also do have that silver plated door handle with our regular window switches. No power folding mirrors, but we do get the power adjustable mirrors and our blind spot monitors in the mirrors. Now moving along to our interior here, we do get power seats for the driver and passenger. Now these seats are not leather, they are cloth, but they do have a nice texture and they are very comfortable and well supported. Now along with that, we have the orange stitching representing the TrailSport trim, and we do have that TrailSport logo stamped into our headrest. That way people know you have the TrailSport trim. Now on the hybrid trim levels, this one is the second from base model, so obviously it's not going to be 100% fully loaded, but you still are going to get great features in here. So let's move inside to all of our tech features and see what Honda has to offer. Now moving along to our interior here, we do get a really nice interior here. So we do have a full digital display for our driver, and we do have a really nice infotainment screen as well. So our display for our driver is going to be a 7-inch driver display. Now our audio system is by Honda, and it is 8 speakers. Like I said, I can't share here on YouTube because of the fact that I will get copyrighted. Now, moving along to our 7-inch driver display here, I do want to mention all of our lighting controls and turn signal controls are controlled through this stalk right here. Over here, we only have a trunk button. Now, moving along to this display really impressed me because of the fact that it is so customizable. So the fact that it is so customizable really makes me happy. So moving along to our customizations here. So we do have tons of safety features. So we'll start with our safety features. So we're going to get our front collision assist, our road departure warning, our adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitors, front AB, rear AB, and rear cross traffic alert. Now you're also going to get the heated leather wrapped steering wheel as well as heated seats in here, which is nice. Now even though this is a CVT, we will still be getting enough performance to give us paddle shifters where basically you can shift the transmission like you would on a regular vehicle. Now actually that is proven to be a little bit more gas efficient if you manually shift the vehicle as well. Now moving along with this 7-inch driver display here, I do have to say with the customizations, it makes it really nice. So as you can see, that little car down there in the middle, actually when I put my foot on the brake here or have my turn signal on, that little car will show us like our brake lights and which turn signal we have on, which I do think is a really cool feature as well. Now along with that little EV symbol down there basically means the car is in full electric mode, which means it's running off its 2 electric motors, which is nice. Now along with that, we do have different drive modes, which we will get into here in a second. Now moving along to this display, we do have multiple functions. So on this side, now we do get different display options, but with each and every display option, the options that you can see are the same. So we have our Android Auto setting, we have our Apple CarPlay setting, our Bluetooth setting, and then we also have our USB setting, our AM FM setting to where you can see your radio, our phone setting, and then we can have that, we can go back here, and then we can also see our customized display, so we can hide and show which options we want here. So all the options that I just said, we can hide those or we can show those. That way you can see them on your gauge cluster, which is nice. Now, along with that, if we go back here, I like to leave this one on the radio settings. So we will go back to FM radio, and that will leave it on the FM radio setting. Now, this side is also customizable as well. So with the adaptive cruise control, we just use the little buttons down here to control it. So we have our steering assist, our cruise control activated. And what's cool is when you have the cruise control activated, when you turn the car on and off, it will also leave the cruise control on or off in that setting that you had it on, which is nice. Now this is our gap adjust right here. So when we turn our adjust on right here, it will basically have it from the nearest to the farthest to far to mid, which is nice, so we can adjust where we want the vehicle to stop. I always like leaving it on the level 2, that way we're not too far away and not too close to the vehicle in front of us. Now, along with that, we do get the ability to customize this other screen here. So we can see our safety and support, our oil life. We can also see who's buckled and who's not buckled. We can see our all-wheel drive settings. We can see our drive safely, which basically means if we're in and out of our lane or not paying attention or using our turn signal, it will tell us to take a break. Now we also have our average speed limit, and then our how long the vehicle was running for, and then we also have our fuel range and fuel economy, and then we have our battery, because since this is a hybrid, we can see what power goes to our battery, which is nice. Now along with that, we can also hide and show these options over here as well if we don't want to see those. Now when we go back here, we do get a different option over here for our gauge design. So for our gauge design, we have our round minimal, which it is already on, and then we are going to have our round, which is basically going to give us a more of a rounded gauge cluster, and then we have our bar gauge cluster, which is going to give us our speed over there and our RPMs over there. And then we have our round minimal, which we were already on, and then when we press it again, we can go to bar minimal, which basically will make it to where the bar selection is very like plain and minimal, and there's not a lot to show there. So as you can see, you can customize that with either being this side being blank, and obviously having your radio on that other side. And then if we go back here, we can select what we want to see on this side. So we can also have that on no content as well, which is nice. Now, my favorite setting personally here in the CRV is going to be when we can see, we're going to go to our gauge display setting and then our gauge design. Now, my favorite design is going to be our round minimal selection. And then we can go and see, we can go back here, and then I like to leave that one on our driver assistance view, because I do think that is quite nice to have a driver assistant view and our radio on that side, and we can see the little car in the middle as well, and it is very helpful with our adaptive cruise control. Now for 2026, the Honda CRV now comes standard with a wireless charging pad, which is nice. So we do have a wireless charging pad right here and a little spot for our phone over here. Our heated seat controls are right here. We have our dual climate, which you can sync, and then of course this is our fan adjustment speed, and there's like a little screen in there, which is nice. That way it basically shows you. Now again, it kind of carries that design from the Honda Civic, which is nice. We have that honeycomb grille going across with our vent adjusters, and then our hazard button right here. Now with our 9-inch display screen right here, we do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for 2026, which is nice. Now along with that, we can go to our general settings, and we can basically just scroll down here to see our sound volume, our different sound, our display options, our data sharing with Honda, our system, if we do have a system update available, our different device connections, and then if we press home, it will go back, and then to connect a device, you can simply press that connect button right there. Now, along with that, this is kind of our widget screen right here. So we do have that physical audio volume knob, which is nice. And then we can preset our different radio stations right down here, which is also pretty nice. Now, along with that, we have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is new for 2026, which I do think is quite nice. We have our no phone detected. That will basically show us where our phone's connected and if our phone is connected. connected, which is nice. Now, along with that, we do get a rear view camera, which is nice, with parking sensors. So when I pop it into reverse, you can probably hear that little sound. It kind of sounds like you're going to heaven or something. That is the pedestrian chime, because this is a hybrid. Now, we do have our full 360 camera out the back, and then we have our just straight out the back, and then we have our overhead view to see how close we are to something. And then we can also turn the brightness up and down, which is nice. And then if we press this right here, we can go back, which is nice. And then that will just disappear when we press the home button and put it back in park, which is cool. So along with that, I really do like how useful our screen is up here, and all of our customizable options with our driver display and our screen over here. Now, I will have to say that even though this screen doesn't look that big, it is pretty big in person. Even though it is a 9-inch screen, it just kind of has that iPad design, so it does make it very useful. Now, along with that, I do have to say, even though you don't get a ton of customizations, you still are getting plenty of features and different abilities to have, including with the Apple CarPlay. Now, with the Apple CarPlay, it'll obviously change the screen to mirror your iPhone, which is nice. So even though Honda doesn't offer a lot of customizable features with the standard display setting, when you connect your phone, you will obviously get more out of the screen than you would like with Honda offers you. Now, of course, moving along down here, we do have our dry mode selector, our downhill descent, our auto brake hold, which is nice. Now you can turn auto brake hold on and off, which is nice. And then you have your parking brake right here. Now, with our different dry modes, we do get a really cool animation over here. So with our dry modes here, we have our normal mode, our econ mode, which is our eco mode, and then we have our snow mode. And then if we go all the way up and we want to get sporty, we do get a sport mode that also kind of changes the theme a little bit, which I also do think is nice. So the different dry modes will obviously engage that hybrid battery, including when you're in the sport mode, which is nice. Now, along with that, you will get tons of performance in the sport mode as well. Now, along with that, we have the 2 USB-C ports down there, the wireless charging pad, which comes standard for 2026, and then we also have that 12-volt port, which is also quite nice. Now, moving along down here, we have our 2 cup holders right here, and then we have our center console. There's no chargers or lights in here, which is kind of disappointing, but we do have a nice storage space that is available to us, which is also quite nice. Now, along with that, overall, I do have to say, I really do like this interior. I like what the interior of this Honda CRV has to offer, and even though it is the TrailSport trim, we're obviously still getting that more of a sporty interior, which I like, and we're also getting that one-panel sunroof, which is nice. So overall, I do have to say, I do really like the Honda CR-V TrailSport. It is a very nice vehicle. It has a lot to offer, and there's also tons of space in the rear seats. So let's hop into the rear seats and see if a 6-foot-tall person can fit comfortably in the rear seats. Hopping into our rear seats here, we do have a really nice back seat, which is also very spacious. So moving along to our door panel here, we do have that little bit of fake carbon fiber. We have our CRV badge down there by our speaker cover. We have a decent sized door panel with a big enough cup holder for 2 water bottles, some nice orange stitching, which represents our TrailSport trim. Now, along with that, moving along down into our area back here, we do have the cloth seats back here. Now, we also have the 2 cup holders in the middle back here, and then we have that same type of seat as up front. Now, we aren't going to get our TrailSport badge stamped into the backs of the back seats, but we are still going to get our nice orange stitching, which is nice, and we are going to get rear AC vents with 2 USB-C ports back here. So let's see if a 6-foot-tall person can fit comfortably in the back of the new Honda CR-V. So moving along to the rear seats of the Honda CR-V here, we don't get a pocket on this side, but we do get a pocket on that side. We have 2 air vents back here and 2 USB-C ports, and then the 2 cup holders in the middle, which is nice. Now, up front, we are going to get our 41.3 inches of legroom, and in the rear, we're going to get 41 inches of legroom, which is nice. Now, I do have to say, back here, it is very comfortable. There's plenty of headroom back here, and there's also plenty of legroom back here. I'm 6 feet tall. I didn't have to move my seat up at all, or I didn't have to move it back. Honestly, it's just plenty of space in this vehicle, and it is super, super nice and spacious, which is nice. And having that one panel sunroof, even though it is not a panoramic sunroof, it still makes it feel even more spacious in here. So now let's hop into the cargo area and see how much junk we can fit in the trunk. Another thing I wanted to point out before we hop into our cargo area is if you do have 2 kids and you do have car seats, you will have enough space for 2 car seats back here, probably a third in the middle as well. But my main point with that is the door does open really wide. Unlike this HRV over there, it does open up to a 90-degree angle to where you can fit your car seat in there just perfectly. Moving along to our rear cargo area here, of course, we are going to get our power lift gate in which we can swipe our foot underneath the vehicle, or we can also open it from the key fob by holding the trunk button, which is nice. Now, moving along to our cargo area here, the TrailSport trim comes standard with all-weather floor mats, which are TrailSport branded, which is nice. Now, of course, we do get our 60/40 folding seats back here, which are going to give us 36.3 cubic feet of space with the seats up, and with the seats down about 76.5 cubic feet of space, which is pretty spacious. Now to fold these rear seats down, you do have to pull this little lever over here and the seats will fold down, which is nice. Now I do like having the all-weather floor mats, and honestly I would have liked to see an all-weather trunk liner, but you can add that. Now we do have lights on both sides, which is nice, with a 12-volt port over here, and you can also add like a little sun cover for your groceries. And if you do build your own at like honda.com, you can add multiple accessories to accessorize the top of your vehicle and the trunk of your vehicle as well. Now what I mean by the top of the vehicle is you can add your roof rails, and you can also add like a bike rack, and you can also add a bike rack back here with the trailer hitch connector as well. Now let's go over my honest opinions of the 2026 Honda CRV TrailSport. Overall, the 2026 Honda CRV TrailSport is a great SUV, I do have to say myself. I gotta say, I love this radiant red metallic color. I really like these 18-inch wheels, and I really do like how Honda brought the TrailSport trim to the CRV here. Now, the CRV trim obviously has that black cladding around the body, which is nice, which gives it that more rugged look. It has the all-season, all-terrain tires, which is nice. Now, I do have to say, for under $40,000, it is a great SUV that offers a lot of great tech, a lot of great safety features, and that beautiful price point with tons of room in the trunk and tons of room in the back seats. So overall, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Would you pay $40,000 for the CRV TrailSport? Let me know in the comments down below. And before I end the review, a huge thank you to Morrie's Honda of West Bend, Wisconsin for letting me come out and review this absolutely stunning 2026 Honda CRV TrailSport. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next review.